with lump sum payments to low-income individuals or to low-income families. And now I'd like to give you some payments rather than subsidize this kind of service. All right, so I compensate you so that you may afford the points here. So the lump sum payments equal to taxpayers' cost of the subsidy. Okay, this is, would you please highlight this condition? Equal to taxpayers' cost of the subsidy. So let's analyze first, what would be the cost if I implement the subsidy policy? This part, this segment, is actually the cost of the subsidy. And the reason is that without the subsidy, you pay this much or you sacrifice this much to buy this unit or this amount of service, right? And with the subsidy, you pay this amount. Oh, once again, sorry. I should compare with the amount here. So this is the after policy amount of childcare services, right? So with the policy, with the subsidy, you will consume this much of childcare. If with this amount, if you pay according to the market price, then you have to pay this much, right? You have to pay this much. Because the slope is P1, let's assume P2 equals 1. So the slope is P1, and this would be Q, for example, Q star times P1. So this would be Q star multiplied by Q1. And this part now is a new price, a lower price. This part would be Q star P1 prime. And their difference, the difference between this and this, would be here, right? So this part would be Q1 star multiply P1 minus P1 prime, which is S. P1 minus P1 prime, which is S. So it's equal Q1 star S. S is the per unit subsidy by the government. Okay? This is the per unit subsidy. So now, since the consumer consume Q star this much, consume this much childcare transfer, and per unit I subsidize, the government subsidize this much. So the product of these two is the total amount I transfer to the low-income family. Okay, I subsidize the family. So you understand what I'm talking about? Once again, this amount would be Q star times P1. And this would be Q star times P1 prime. And their difference would be Q star times P1 minus P1 prime, which is S, per unit subsidy. Okay, per unit subsidy. So this is the total amount of this would be the total amount of subsidy. So who paid this amount of subsidy? Taxpayers, right? So taxpayers' cost of the subsidy actually is this part. So if I just give you a lump sum payment, I just transfer cash to you rather than subsidize the childcare price, what would happen? This is your initial budget line. I give you this much money, so your budget just shift up to here, right? You just shift up parallel shift to this point. So this okay, the size to shift up is exactly this part, and this part is actually the taxpayer's cost of the program, the subsidy program. So if I give you some lump sum transfer, and you actually may consume or you may actually be better off, even better off than the subsidy. So cash is better than subsidy. All right, think about this. And your assignment has okay, my TA doesn't receive the. Wait a minute. Let me do assignment for you. today is 21. Oh, sorry. It should be. Wait a minute. Okay, there is no question number 1, only question number 2 and 3. So because it's hard to give you assignment, something like CV or EV thing. In just Alright, just do this too. So it's easier for this week. Please describe your personal gains during the last 3 hours. And optional. Optional. What would you find causing the learning process? What do you think yourself or Roger can do to do more to help you learn better? Alright, so in fact, you need to do 1. And I'd like to find someone, 黄玉锦. Who is 黄玉锦? Alright, so 你是我导生对吧? Please stay after the class because you have that. Or if you do not need the password card, 你有密码卡了吗? How come? 谁给你密码卡? 这上面没有你的名字吗？你有参加过导剧吗？我真的，那我没勾到。OK， all right。Oh yeah, you got it. Sorry. So 1, 2, 3, 18, 21, 26. Oh yeah. My mistake. Sorry. It's my mistake. You got it already. Alright. There's only one left. the difference between the red one and the initial one is this amount, right? And this amount is exactly the number or the amount of subsidy, right? So it's the cost of the taxpayer. Okay, with the same cost. So there are two ways. One is subsidy, and the other is just